There are a handful of different retirement planning mistakes I see over and over again. And surprisingly, most people who are making those mistakes feel like they are the responsible things to be doing. But often they're not, and they're creating confusion and fear, and they keep retirees stuck in the I'm not ready yet mode for far too long. And if you wait just a moment, I'll walk you through exactly what those mistakes are. And if we haven't gotten to meet yet, my name is Dylan Martin. I'm a certified financial planner with Stewardship Investments, and we help Christian families retire with clarity, with purpose, and with peace so that they can steward their resources well. And if you're watching this video, you're already ahead of most people, but being interested in retirement planning and having a lot of knowledge around it and having clarity around your retirement planning are two very different things. So today I wanted to walk you through 5 of the most common mistakes I see Christian retirees make, and I'll reveal the big one that traps and frustrates even the most financially savvy people I come across. So let's jump in here. First mistake I see all the time are people wanting to start with their investments instead of their calling or their plan. You're worried about how you should be allocated. You're asking questions like, should I buy this dividend stock? Should I switch to this ETF? Should I invest in this new AI stock portfolio that everyone's talking about? Or should I be worried about the AI bubble? Does a 60-40 portfolio still work? Does it work for me? And those are all valid questions to some extent. But starting with the investments is like asking, what tool do I use? But you don't even know what job you're doing or what you are going to build. And as Christians, this is especially important because scripture itself never begins with tools. It begins with purpose. Like Ephesians 2 tells us that God has prepared good works for you to walk in. And that includes this next season of life in retirement. So before you talk portfolios, ETFs, even things like Roth conversions, you need to ask, Lord, what are you calling me into in retirement? What am I exactly planning for? Am I serving, pouring into grandkids? Am I volunteering? Am I traveling with purpose, supporting missions? And then once you kind of flesh those things out and those become more clear, your investments become a tool to serve those callings. And there really is no other way around that. Having your investments set up without having it tied to any sort of plan really is like having a boat without a rudder, without a captain, without a map. I mean, there's just no, where is that boat going? Even if it's the best looking boat, most finely engineered boat you've ever seen, where is it going? It's going nowhere. And that's exactly how it is with having investments without a plan. And this leads directly into the second mistake I see all the time, and it's copying someone else's tax strategy. And this comes up all the time, and this honestly also comes up with the investment portfolio situation as well, but you're talking with your friends. You're asking them what they're doing. And that's a great place to start and honestly can probably lead to a lot of great insight as you're probably pretty similar to your friends, but your friend's situation and your situation are not the same. So your friend doing Roth conversions, so you should do Roth conversions, maybe, but not always. Or your brother-in-law said that you should always invest in Roth 401k, that doing traditional and pre-tax is stupid and there is no middle ground there. Or your neighbor's telling you that you should do your tax planning so that you stay in the 12% bracket for XYZ reason. So you should too. And why is that? Because tax planning is not one size fits all. Two people can have the exact same income, be the same age, have the same amount of savings, and still need completely different tax strategies. So unless you really know what's under the hood, or what the goals are of this family, then your tax planning should not mimic theirs. There are so many different variables that affect how you should approach your tax planning, what your future income picture is, what state are you going to live in or do you currently live in, your timing of Social Security, is there going to be any sort of inheritance for you, how charitable are you, and what's your charitable plan going forward, and like we were saying before, what is your purpose for retirement? Just like your investments, your tax planning should be a byproduct of your overall retirement plan and be serving your retirement plan and purpose, not something that you just copy from someone else or from a YouTube video like this one or from your neighbor down the street. And this next one may almost seem hypocritical, and I promise that it's not, as you are sitting here watching this video, but the biggest mistake Christian retirees make is consuming endless retirement content because there are endless amounts of retirement content out there without ever building a plan or a framework to make sense of all that information. Just like the Bible tells us, there is a very big difference between knowledge and wisdom. And having lots of knowledge is great, but I've never met someone who would like to have more knowledge than wisdom. And wisdom comes with having a plan with application. Having too much knowledge, it just creates analysis paralysis, especially if you're not walking out what you're learning in community with other people or with a financial planner. And there's a reason that this creates paralysis in a sense, because you watch one video that says to claim Social Security at 62, and there's another video that says you should always wait until age 70, and now you're in this deep rabbit hole watching 17 different videos with all conflicting different information. Or you watch a video about Roth conversions and now you feel like you need to do that too. And then there's another video over here, and I know I'm getting down this rabbit hole here, but that scares you about stock market investing. And that's not your fault, because YouTube, social media, the news, everything is designed to feed you topic after topic after topic that you want to be seeing, and that's maybe how you found this video. But here's what happens, and this is where Christians really tend to get stuck, is that your desire to be a good steward quickly becomes perfectionism, and then perfectionism quickly turns into fear, and then fear turns into paralysis. It's similar to watching 500 different sermons or reading thousands of different Bible studies but not actually practicing what you learn. Knowledge isn't the problem, just a missing framework for that knowledge is the problem. And that missing framework becomes even more dangerous when you build it upon a plan with perfect assumptions. Let me explain more there. And what I mean by that is that retirees make a big mistake when they build a plan that only works if everything goes right. They build out projections and spreadsheets that show steady 7% returns, low inflation, perfect health, no surprises or big expenses coming up, no recessions. And they plan a retirement that works in theory. And things could all go right, but most of the time in real life, they don't. Real life tends to smack us around a little bit and give us surprises that we're not always anticipating. And for the Christian retiree, this creates spiritual and emotional strain as well, because like I just said, life just rarely goes according to our plans and our script. Proverbs famously says that man plans his steps, but the Lord directs his paths. So yes, we plan diligently, but also stress test your plan. You want to make sure that your plan can withstand anything and everything that's going to get thrown at it. Can it withstand a recession like back in '08? Can it withstand if there is inflation like back in the '70s? Can it withstand if you all of a sudden have a big expense come up or have health problems? You want to make sure that you can account for all of these things, not just when everything is peachy and rosy. A good plan prepares for storms, not just the sunshine, and not by panicking, but just by having a good full plan in place. And speaking of panicking, the last mistake here I wanted to cover today is making decisions from fear and from emotions. And this is true with most people in general, but I see this especially plague retirees with transitioning to the new season, relying on finances in a whole new way, but just letting fear really run their lives and especially their financial life. Always just so nervous and anxious about, is the market going to crash? So if it does, I'm going to stay in cash, or long-term care might bankrupt us, so I'm just never going to spend any of my money to make sure that we have enough. Or Social Security might get cut, so I'm going to go ahead and claim early to get everything that I can. And the one that hurts me the most to see is, oh, I can't give generously because what if I need that money someday? And ultimately, fear becomes your financial advisor and fear becomes your God in a sense. That's what you start to serve. But fear is a terrible advisor. It's a terrible God. And scripture tells us again and again to not fear, and that perfect love casts out fear. So not because nothing bad ever happens, of course, but because God is sovereign in all of the uncertainty that comes with this new season of life in retirement. So what is the way out of all of these mistakes? Well, here is a simple framework that you can walk through to help as much as you can to avoid these mistakes. So step one is to define what is your purpose and your calling going into retirement. What is God calling you into this new season of life? Because your calling is what's going to set your direction and then is what is going to be the heart of your goals and your plan heading into retirement. The second step is to go and build your income plan around that purpose and around that plan. And that includes your guaranteed sources of income like your pensions, your withdrawal strategy from your investment accounts, how you coordinate Social Security with both of those streams of income, how you coordinate your taxes, your healthcare planning, your generosity, looking at your estate planning as well. So many different pieces to the puzzle, but all of those pieces are not the ends in and of themselves. They all should be facilitating that plan and that purpose you have. So make sure that you are defining that purpose and then building all of these various pieces to the puzzle around that purpose, instead of just trying to isolate one of those pieces like your tax planning or your estate planning or your income and trying to optimize those individually for the sake of optimization. You want those to revolve around that plan. And lastly, you want to make sure that you're stress testing your plan and all of these inputs. Like I mentioned earlier, you don't want your plan to only work when everything is perfect, because life sadly isn't perfect. We're not in Eden yet. So right now there are bumps in the road, and you want to make sure that you are prepared for those bumps. And you have to give yourself grace, knowing that even your plan, everything is not going to go perfectly. You can't time every decision right. You can't build everything perfectly. So you want to make sure you have flexibility, you have margin. But what you can do and what you can build in that plan is make sure that it holds up against those storms. Make sure that it protects and sets your family up well. You can make sure that it honors God, that it reduces the fear and uncertainty that you have, creates clarity and confidence for you, and that it just gives you permission to enjoy your retirement, to live with joy in this new season. And you don't need the plan to be perfect. You just need it to be purposeful and to be aligned with your purpose, like we've been saying. And here's the truth. You don't need more retirement videos. I am going to keep making them, and I hope that you keep watching them and that they're helpful for you. But what you do need is a framework that helps all of the information that you're taking in make sense. And like we've been saying, that framework needs to be built around your calling, your specific numbers in your situation, your investments, your income, your tax planning, your purpose, and then your faith. So if you did find this video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe, share it with a friend or family members. And if you need help walking through this framework, please make sure to click the link below in the bio, and I'd be happy to walk you through a free retirement planning session to help you avoid all of these mistakes going into retirement. And remember that money is a tool, money's not the goal. So plan well, use it well, steward it faithfully, and let God direct your steps. Hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.